before we jump into anime, we're going to jump into Media Mania, where we talk about new releases and entertainment news. And the first piece of news that I wanted to cover was about a new live action Gundam movie that has started production. It looks like let me not say this wrong. Bandai, Namco Filmworks, and Legendary Pictures have officially commenced production on the first live action adaptation of the iconic Mobile Suit Gundam series. Now, I actually started watching Mobile Suit Gundam very recently because I had a friend of mine, Joel, recommend it to me, and I've been enjoying it. I really like it. And apparently, Jim Mickle, who also worked on Sweet Tooth, which is a very well known Netflix show,
Mm,
he is the director for this, as well as Jordan Vaught Roberts. He is also connected to this project as well. And it looks like specific plot details are kind of under wraps, which makes sense because there are a lot of iterations of the Gundam series. So
mm,
I'm excited for this, but it's also kind of like I want this to be good and I want to see it. But at the same time, it's like
mhm.
the anime is already so strong. It's
Yeah,
like, do we
yeah.
need it?
I always ask my question that when it comes to live action anime, that like, do we really need this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it something that is going to be done well? Are they going to have their research with it? Now, Sweet Tooth is a really good show.
Yeah.
So if the director is coming from there, if he did all episodes, then that's amazing. Um, but just looking at it, thinking about it, like you said, it's a lot of iterations of Gundam. You have Gundam Seed, you have Gundam Wing, you have Gundam Origins, you have
Yeah.
the new one that just came out, Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was gonna be bad because I'm not really a big fan of the CGI animation, but it was really good. It was really good. So I'm gonna have my skepticism. Let
Yeah.
me get the word right. I'm gonna have my skepticism, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? It might not be needed, but let's give it a shot. People trying to make some money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it interesting that they're turning this into a live action because Gundam is very popular. I feel like in Japan, but not really here in the U.S. And I remember when my friend had brought up that he really likes Mobile Suit Gundam. I was like, "What's that?" And I had no idea what it
Mm,
was. And when I started watching it, started doing like research into it, started looking into it, I was like, "Oh, this is actually really good and like really really
hmm
interesting." It reminded me of like not really like Yu-Gi-Oh, but there was that other like it's a little bit like Transformers, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. With the shape shifting of the Gundam suit or the
yeah,
different components that they lock into, like a Zoid or something like that. But they America, they have our fans because I get requests all the time to go over the entire history of Gundam, and I'm like,
that's a
that is
lot.
a lot of hours.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
I give you, I give you this. I give you Gundam Origins. I give you Gundam Wing, and then I'll probably give you Gundam Seed and all that stuff. But everything else is a stretch.
yeah. That's true. And I feel like
Yeah.
this is a really interesting thing to bring to the United States because like the mecha genre, it does have like a lot of series, a lot of films, a lot of merchandise. So
hmm
obviously, because there's such a strong fan base in Japan, maybe they're trying to tap into it here in America. But I think that because
hmm
there will be a lot of people who don't know what Gundam is, they may just look at it as like Japanese Transformers.
That is
Because
very possible. Yeah.
yeah, because people are very
I
surface
think.
level.
Yeah. Very. I think when it comes to comic book movies, anime movies, and stuff like now, I think the mindset and attitude towards it now is go do your research.
Yeah.
Like if you see something, let's give you the material so you can actually do your research, or they know that there has so many YouTubers, TikTokers, people that will see the trailer and break it down for the people who might not even know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays it's like if you don't know what you're looking at, then it's kind of your fault now, because you're not taking advantage of the information presented to you. So maybe they will look at it that way, but I'm pretty sure as soon as they speak out, somebody can say, here, look at this right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the anime right here. They're gonna break it down for them, and if they choose to look into it, then hey, if they don't, then they just still be lost in the sauce.
Yeah. And a lot of I feel like American audiences they like things that are easy to understand and easy to
Easy to
digest.
digest.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because Gundam is like so extensive. Of course, there's going to be
Yeah.
some video on YouTube that's like the 30-minute history of Gundam and everything you need to know before you
Hmm.
watch the movie. And the movie's going to
Yeah.
try and like give you some kind of like background exposition so that people who are not aware of Gundam are on the same page as other people
Hmm.
are. But I think that sometimes because there are certain stories that have such a beefy history, when you try and whittle
Hmm.
it down and make it easy for
Hmm.
everybody to get it, it takes away from the complexity of the story, or it takes away from like certain parts that people like, and they like how
Yeah.
expensive it is, they like how complicated it
Yeah.
is. So I think the biggest challenge for the writers and the directors is to just try and find that balance, you know?
Right. I know. I think gonna be some hard out fans. They don't see my man with the mask showing up at least one time. You know,
Yeah.
they're gonna be feel some type of way. But the best thing they can do is just dumb it down to the point where we know that Earth is in battle with the colonies,
Mm-hmm.
and you have it was reasons why the colonies was built, this, that, and third. So you have your alliances in the colonies, and you have your Earth. Them doing battle with mobile suits, and then I believe, if I remember correctly, I think the colony's the one that created the Gundam, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But whoever created the Gundam to be the new mobile suit that nobody can really mess with, that's the best way they can do it. If they get into that type of era instead of trying to get into so many different nations and so many different iterations of the different planets involved, then they're gonna have an issue. My wife is coming through the door right now.
You're fine. You're fine. Does
Okay,
she need
so
you, or are you good?
no, 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 no. She's just gonna walk through.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all.
That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. My mom comes in while I'm recording all the time, so we'll just cut around
Yeah.
it.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Just want to give you that cue so we can get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's the best way they can go move forward with it. Because that would keep both sides of the spectrum happy. You have your
Mm-hmm.
fans who just want to see a good Gundam story, and then you have your introduction to the people who don't even know about Gundams. I think that's the best way to do. Now, when they try to cut up different stories, for example, the Yu Yu Hakusho live action, where
Mm-hmm.
they try to add so many different stories from different arcs together to make a jambalaya of Yu Yu Hakusho and what makes it fun and everything, I feel like that's a complete fail once
Yeah.
you try to do that. Because you're trying to please OG fans, but at the same time, you're trying to bring in new fans, but at the same time, you're trying to go above and beyond to please the OG fans on a limited budget on a limited time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's true. That's
live
true.
action can be fickle.
Yeah, that is very true. And obviously, this film is going to be different from like other anime movies because I feel like a lot of anime films that I've been seeing coming out are basically just extensions of the story. You know, like My
Hmm.
Hero Academia, Your Next is just like it's an extension of like the already existing storyline that just kind of it
Hmm.
doesn't really like have to do with the canon, but like there are elements of the canon in there. Or like
Right.
the dumpster battle for Haiku, that was basically in the continuation of the story that's already in the haiku manga because they're not really doing the anime anymore or whatever's going on with the animator. But you know they have the movie
Hmm.
to continue the story from season 4, and with this, it's basically just like a reintroduction, and then you know trying to bring in new fans, but also trying to please long-standing
Hmm.
fans of the Gundam. So they don't have the pleasure of
Right.
having people that are already interested in the story and know what's going
Hmm.
on and they could just watch the movie. They have to like bring people in that probably don't know anything about it and then
Hmm.
introduce it to them and then also try to like please the long-standing fans as well. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say this: the one thing they do have going for them is the fact that it's more military based than fantasy based.
Yeah.
So it should be easier for them to get a budget to have the uniforms together, the actual scenery of a colony, the Earth shots. The highest they already have a real life Gundam in Japan, so it's like you have the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it got decommissioned, but decommissioned earlier this year. But
Mm-hmm.
you have the blueprint of it, so you should be able to work something out. The graphics should look fire. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that right now.